Oh god, this is awful. Did they even play a flaming Mario game before making this stupid movie? I love movies and I love video games. They are two of my favourite pastimes, to chill out and watch a nice flick or pick up a controller and become invested within a game's world. Hell, even if it's bad, I can still have fun taking the mick out of it. So in theory, putting the two together is a no-brainer really. However, video game based movies are notorious for being some of the worst, bottom of the barrel and least enjoyable movies to spend your money at the cinema on. They should go together like cake and ice cream. Instead, it's like putting cake with say a sausage roll. It just doesn't mesh together well. After hearing a rebooted Tomb Raider movies coming out 16th of March, I thought it would be fun to analyze and try and understand why don't video games and movies 9 times out of 10 work as one singular project. The first video game based movie was Super Mario Bros., released back in 1993, and if you want one word to describe this movie in a nutshell, atrocious would be that word. And that sums up this movie to a T, honestly. It looks terrible, the plot is terrible, the villains are these things, seriously, these are supposed to be Goombas. Horrible, am I right? My eyes are just hurting looking at this thing too. The movie also did very poorly at the box office, with a budget of $48 million, not including the advertising costs. It made $20 million back. That is just awful. But this movie would start the trend for video game based movies for quite a while, as in most of them are terrible. Let me go through a list of some of these video game adapted films. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tomb Raider the Angelina Jolie one, House of the Dead, fun game by the way, in particular the second game, despite the awful voice acting, Doom with The Rock, Hitman, Hitman again, and Warcraft. Wait, a Far Cry movie got made? How did that do? Never mind, I shouldn't have asked. Then there are the Resident Evil films, a series of films that went on for far too long, and when I heard they were making a 6th one back in 2016, I thought, wow, they're still making these movies, huh? There are some times, very few times, where a video game inspired movie can work or at least be decent at the bare minimum. That Sonic the Hedgehog movie back in 1986 was pretty decent. It's not the best thing to come out of the Sonic franchise, but nor is it the worst. It has some nice fights, a nice art style, and even if the voice acting is cheesy as hell and not well dubbed for English viewers, it at least stays true to the main characters. I guess you can count Wreck-It Ralph as a video game inspired movie? Loosely? If so, it's probably the best one in that case. Really likable characters, a simple but effective theme of discovering one's purpose in life, and a few nice little cameos from other video game characters. Definitely would recommend this one, it's one of Pixar's best in my opinion. But outside of that, I can't think of any more. So why are there not more good or even great video game movies out there? I think there are two very strong reasons why this is. The first reason is the people behind these movies don't show the source material that they use for their projects with the respect that they deserve, making their own version of that game or series just for a quick buck or two because it's a well-known video game property, rather than having an actual good story to tell using that game as a base. The Resident Evil movies are a perfect example of this. Quick heads up though, there are going to be some spoilers I'm going to go through with these movies, so fair warning. These movies take most of the beloved characters of this franchise and makes them sidekicks or just plain useless. Chris, Claire, Leon, Ada, they're just side characters that are barely recognizable from their video game counterparts in these roles in all the films pretty much. Then there is Wesker. Oh brother. Do you want to know how Albert Wesker dies in these movies? The big bad guy of the RE games in his live action version gets killed by a sodding door. Yes, you heard me. A bloody, flaming, sodding door. All of the main characters from the games are just brushed over Alice. She has nearly every big moment taken from the games in these movies. The Nemesis fight from RE3, the small fight with Ada in RE4, getting superpowers like Wesker, you see where I'm going here. It's a huge slap in the face for people who enjoy the RE game, its characters, its setting, and everything in between. I don't think they understood why Resident Evil is so popular even to this day. The classic RE games are a story about survival, going for the worst nightmare situation possible and facing off against creatures that want nothing more than to end the main cast. For me, this shows a lack of care or a huge misunderstanding towards the source material itself. The second reason though, okay, so you want to make a movie say on Call of Duty, okay, fine. However, you can't just take a 5 to 6 hour campaign and try to shove it in a 2.5 hour movie. It'll feel overstuffed, bloated, and will affect the movie in a negative aspect. Don't be afraid to take things out that are necessary to the plot. You want an example of shoving a well-recognized franchise into a movie, look no further than The Last Airbender. In general, it's awful. Terrible acting, writing, directing, effects, basically, it's terrible. But they made the stupid decision to try and put an entire season, e.g. Book 1 Water, in one movie. I know it's not a video game, but the point here still remains. Obviously, you can't rip one franchise and shove it into one movie with little or no changes to fit a movie format. So ultimately, in conclusion, video game movies are always going to be around. I think there will always be film companies taking popular games and trying to make a movie or even a series around it. But if you're going to do that, take 2 key points away from this video. Whatever singular game or game series you choose, have a reason of why you want to make a film on it, an actual story to tell and adapt to film. Respect the material, understand why it has a following to begin with, and don't disrespect in such a way that insults it or the fans of the franchise to begin with. Basically, don't be the RE movies. Secondly, don't rip a game's plot to make a movie around it. Changes can be made as long as you don't disrespect the thing you're basing your movie on. Make it work within the film's runtime and make sure it doesn't feel bloated or overstuffed. Hopefully by doing this, we might actually get some good, or hell, I'll even settle for decent video game based movies. Quick side note, no one has made a Red Dead Redemption or Last of Us movie, but we're getting a sequel to that Angry Bird movie for 2019? Right, okay then, sure, totally makes sense. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on video game based movies? What are the worst ones you have seen? Are there any good ones you have seen or recommend? Leave your thoughts down below. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Fireshock on YT. Links are in the description and on screen. Thanks for watching again. Have a great day folks, and see you on the next video.